High up in the mountains of Turkey, the story of Armenian converts has been silently told, and memories cautiously whispered across generations. I am Mehmet Binay, director of the documentary called Whispering Memories. Though you never saw me or heard my voice until now, I decided to keep quiet in order to hear the whispers.
En sonunda Ermenilerden bir Kırcılı isminde Ermeni kalmış. En sonra o gitmiş buradan.
Few details were remembered about 1915 in this village, yet two names were still in people's memories. The international debut of the documentary was held in Yerevan, Armenia in July 2008. The audience didn't even know Muslim people of Armenian descent still existed in Turkey, or if they ever did. People who intermarried with Turks and formed the so-called converts. Soon after my visit to Yerevan, I received an email through my producer.
Dear Sir Smith, would you tell me if it is
possible to get a copy of Mehmet Binay's Whispering Memories, and how?
Also, if possible, can I have Binay's email address? P.S. My father was born in Geben, and I wanted always to visit Geben.
I read the name Kerjilian over and over. It felt like receiving a letter from 1915. Kerjili, the prominent Armenian community leader from Geben, leaving the village as the last person. Generations had passed since 1915. Most Armenians from Geben had perished on the way to the Syrian desert. Those fortunate enough to survive moved on to start new lives in other countries. Dear Ghazaros Kerjilian, this is a very important moment for me. Elders of Geben are talking about your father in Whispering Memories and how he left Geben as the last person from the Armenian community. Our correspondence continued. Ghazaros Kerjilian traveled to Toronto for the Pomegranate Film Festival, and there we met each other for the first time. In Toronto, Ghazaros also showed us his father's picture. It reminded us of the old Imam who told us the story of how Armenians left Geben in 1915. Ghazaros' father also had a lot of sorrow in his eyes. In July 2009, Ghazaros came out to Turkey. His niece Vivian from Damascus accompanied him on his journey. She was a 27-year-old Armenian girl, and this was her first ever visit to Turkey. She was excited, yet a bit worried.
I didn't felt I am in Turkey when I was in Istanbul. It's different feeling here.
Regardless what the outcome, what I find or not, I had decided to myself that I have to go. I had to come and find out.
And now I'm visiting Geben as a visitor. We're supposed to be living there and having family and everybody. We will be all together here instead of having everyone far away.
Yasemin, the convert girl in Whispering Memories, and her family offered us their hospitality in Geben. Having Armenian roots in her family, This was an emotionally charged meeting with a lot of anxiety.
Ben ilk duyduğumda duygulandım, heyecanlandım. Hani düşündüm yani neden daha önce yaşadığı yeri neden gelip görmesin? En doğal hakkı. Hani bir gün ben de belki uzaktan olan bir akrabamı öğrenirim ve onun yaşadığı yeri gezmek isteyebilirim. Yani beni engellesinler mi? İstemem böyle bir şeyi.
The evening was long and full of fiery debates about the past and present.
Veya bir Türk'ün elinde büyümüş olabilirler mesela.
Onu diyorum. Ya bir Türk saklamış öyle oldu.
Yok, saklama
var,
olayı yok. O hani işte kitapların falan o aşırı abartılması falan. Yani iki tarafta da. Abartılması da biraz kızdırıyor iki tarafı.
Osman said that if I say I'm Armenian, and then both actually simultaneously, Yasemin and Osman said that then the Turks will not buy anything from us. I think they're afraid. I think they're because they may be afraid of singled out, being isolated from the society, being treated not equal, and so that they not feel comfortable that they're at home in Gabon.
Life went on for those who were left behind. Ghazaros was keen to find out what happened to his great-uncle who stayed behind in 1915, but they said they never heard of him. The next morning, Vivian learned how to wrap the Turkish scarf and joined Osman's wife to carry some water. At breakfast, Vivian was sitting with the girls on the kitchen floor, improving her broken Turkish, while Ghazaros asked Yasemin's father about the secrets of a healthy and long life.
Bana derler ki biberle yumurta yer. Yani
Ghazaros was also surprised to hear that both Yasemin's father and young brother were carpenters, just like his father used to be. Later that morning, climbing up to surrounding heights, Vivian and Ghazaros fell in love with the magnificent landscape of Geben. But I was sure Ghazaros' mind was busy with Osman's shop. Entering through the narrow door, a familiar smell greeted Ghazaros.
my father was a self-taught carpenter because he had to learn it himself, and he was a very, very proficient, and he became an expert carpenter, and that was wood, and carpentry was his life.
Piece by piece, Ghazaros explored Osman's wonderful talent of artisanship. This was transferred to Osman through his father and great-uncle.
These are exactly the tools, they are exactly the arrangement, it's exactly the table that he will do, machinery, and the things that they do. I'm going to be a little superstitious, and I said there is a message in this thing that no matter how much is admitted and how much is done, that this is a part of my continuation.
In the late afternoon, Yasemin and Osman took their Armenian guests to the former Christian village. Overlooking the village, they met their elder sister and her family.
Yasmin's sister. She said that Ghazaros, when he said yes, that like there was a marriage between Ghazaros and their past family or so. But then Yasmin and her brother, either they didn't know or they didn't want to come outright.
Ya şimdi akrabalık yok desem bile ben olmaz ki. Hani buna kimse inanmaz. Tabii ki var onlarla bir akrabalığım.
The next morning, we walked down the hill to the old Imam's house. Ghazaros had been waiting for this visit for almost a year now.
Who was the Imam? Where is the origin? After seeing that picture and then relating to times, the relationship with my family and what my father has said. I mean, they're such a huge family, and then they claim there is no relationship to my family.
There he was, Hacı Mehmet Karanfiloğlu, who served as village imam for over 50 years. Old enough to remember 1915.
Devlet emretti, sürülecek diye devlet sürdü. Kimse karışmadı bu köyde, öyle bir şey olmadı.
I told the imam that his visitor is the grandson of the big Armenian, Kerjilian. He was silent for minutes.
Ya, Kerjilian!
His look was peculiar.
The man almost like froze and looking at the picture, and I could see the wetness in his eye. Looking at his eyes, looking at his face, and it was hard for me to say that this couldn't be. The similarity with my father is unexplainable. I told him, "You're my amca, my uncle," and that's how I take it. This is like my son, the word he used, that he didn't have a brother, that he's a convert, and his looks and his emotions and the way he stuck on the photograph, I just felt that this could be my great uncle.
On our return, Ghazaros kept on looking for answers to his unknown past. Having found his distant relatives, he was determined to revisit the old imam before it is too late, and perhaps ask him more questions. Yasemin and her family kept on calling themselves villagers of Geban. For them, Ghazaros was a godsend visitor and the remote uncle who knows so much about the world and history. Vivian, on the other hand, made herself home in Geban and mixed into daily life more easily. I often witnessed her enjoying herself in the crowd, but I also saw her silently weeping when no one was looking. Just like that great-grandmother of Yasemin and many others in Anatolia who were kept behind.